What's up guys, I'm back to streaming on Twitch. When this video goes live, I will be live on Twitch. If you want to come hang out, the link will be in the comments and description. And this is my first video back, and I'm planning on uploading hopefully a decent amount of videos this season. I hope Crotazen is really good, but my first video, like usual, will be about this seasonal exotic, which is a GL with 3 different perks, which is very unique. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down exactly what it does and if it's good overall for damage or ad clear. So I'm jumping right into the perks first with the main exotic perk. This weapon enrages when dealing damage or taking sustained damage, gaining increased rate of fire while enraged. Then a secondary perk, Loyal Moths. Final blows with this weapon create a loyal moth. The moth will seek out nearby targets and detonate, damaging and blinding them. But this weapon also has a third perk, where this weapon continuously draws ammo from reserves. The magazine also enables firing arc projectiles that detonate on impact. So there's a lot of things to break down with this weapon. First off, as you see, it is a 1 mag like all of the special GLs, but now this one will refill from the magazine instantly, almost like old Lunafaction boots or Rally Barricades, and you will never have to reload the weapon. The second part is the Loyal Moths. Whenever you get a final blow with this weapon, you'll create a moth which will go around tracking targets, and it does a decent amount of damage. In this all sector, it does 35,000 damage to the target, then a decent amount of damage to anything nearby. So the moths themselves do more damage than the actual GL, but there is a cooldown on how often you can spawn them in. It's roughly every 4 or 5 seconds. It's not going to be on every single final blow, which is unfortunate, but at least they do pack a decent punch, and anything that survives the detonation, so in harder content, it will then be blinded, which will be really good. One thing to note about this weapon is, unlike other special GLs, you cannot hold it down and release it whenever you want it to explode. These things only explode on impact with a floor, wall, or a target, which is going to be something to get used to and is kind of different. And finally, the main part of this weapon is the whole enrage mechanic. So as you do damage with this weapon, you will see a new bar pop up on the reticle that will fill up and decay over time, and as you do more damage, it will fill up more and more. But then over time it will decay. And while this weapon is enraged, you will have a faster rate of fire. The more enraged the weapon is, the faster the rate of fire. So normally 5 shots with this weapon take over 4.2 seconds. But then if we shoot at Carl, it will ramp up more and more as we get more and more enraged. And the 5 shots now take 3.6 seconds. But there's going to be another way to take advantage of the enrage, which is by receiving damage. Unlike doing damage, this will not be linear, where as you take damage, it'll just kind of fill up the bar. The entire bar will be filled once you receive enough damage to do so, and at that point you can start shooting at the max rate of fire. As you do damage, it will constantly refill the bar. So in theory, you could definitely shoot at a boss with the max rate of fire the entire time. And once fully enraged, it takes quite a while for it to drop fully off. So overall, with the max rate of fire, it's going to be roughly 27% faster than the base rate of fire of the weapon, resulting in a DPS of 42.6 thousand, which even for a special weapon is not good at all. This weapon is not a DPS weapon by any means, even though it is a full auto infinite mag GL. It definitely lends itself more so to ad clear, and I'm not quite sure if it's even good at ad clear or remotely worth using your time for a few reasons. First, I think this weapon is just fundamentally a bad design because of the way all of its perks work. With the whole enrage mechanic, the whole point of the weapon is to obviously constantly shoot it, constantly do damage, and constantly refill that enrage bar and take advantage of the faster rate of fire, right? It's kind of like a snowball effect. And with the moths kind of being slow and being on a cooldown of like 5-ish seconds to spawn in, let's say whenever you do spawn one in, unless you like purposely sit there and watch it do its thing, sometimes it's so slow that it just never hits anything. Because this weapon is a full auto GL that ramps up and snowballs, the whole point of it is kind of to go crazy and constantly shoot it and constantly do damage. So when you do that, with it being an explosive weapon, there's a good chance you're going to kill everything in an area, and the moth will just kind of be floating around and do nothing. So it almost feels like you have to take a break and purposely watch the moth fly at its target and explode, which definitely contradicts the whole point of the weapon, where it snowballs and you shoot faster and faster, and you don't really want any downtime. But overall, the ad clear like isn't bad, right? It's a full auto GL. Like, how bad could it be? Until you realize it is a special weapon, and if you really take advantage of it, you're gonna be out of ammo in like 40 seconds. And with things in the game like Sunshot or Graviton Lance that have, in my opinion, way better explosive perks on a primary weapon with infinite ammo, there really is just like no competition. You could even use the 4 Barons with Chain Reaction, which will be arguably a better Accurate GL that is also not an exotic and does not take up your exotic slot. So overall, I don't think I'm a huge fan of this weapon. It might have its place somewhere in the game, I'm just not quite sure where that is. For me, I think it needs to do either more damage and lean into more of like a DPS role, or for Accurate, there just needs to be like no cooldown on the moths at all. And if they really want to go crazy, make the moths final blows, be able to create more moths, kind of like that of the Sunshot or the Graviton Lance. Why can those weapons just chain react forever and are primary weapons while my 32 ammo special weapon can only do it once every like few seconds? It really doesn't make a lot of sense. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it for the video. Like usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.